This book sat on my shelf for years before I opened it. The year I finally read it, I went from regular employee to seven-figure business owner. And it's not about hustling harder. It's about 3 mental shifts that successful people use, often without realizing it. This first shift is something you're probably also doing without realizing it. But instead of helping you build your dream business faster, it's actually slowing you down. For a long time, I told myself, I'm just bad at making videos. But as you're watching this, I've now made over 600 videos on this channel and have grown an audience from 0. So what changed? The first lesson I learned from psycho-cybernetics. Every experience, success, and failure has written a story about who you believe you are. Note that this is not who you actually are, but who you believe you are. And that belief dominates how you act. For me, I was saying, I'm really bad at video. And because of that, I wasn't trying to get better at it. Think about your own life. What is something you always say that you're not good at? If we're honest with each other, that's a feeling. And if there's one huge takeaway I've gotten from therapy, it's that feelings are not facts. Which means if you were feeling bad about that part of your story, you get to flip the script. This is shift number 1. And here's my favorite way to do this. Think about that thing you're not good at as a skill, not a natural trait. Then the question becomes, what do you need to do to learn that skill? For me, that looked like asking myself, what if I can become good at video and turn it into a force for my business? Even more than that, what if I can love making videos? This shift changes everything for you. It proves that you aren't ever stuck without options. It also removes a cop-out. You can't say anymore, oh, I'm just not good at X. The reality is, our minds are so flexible. High five to having the power to adapt and change into who you want to become. But this hurdle can be even harder to get past when it's not your own story, but someone else's story for you. For example, my ex in high school told me flat out that I was boring. I know, that's why he's an ex. But I held on to that for a long time. So much so that when I was first starting my business journey, my ex's story kept me stuck for almost 2 years. How can I possibly stand out when I'm so boring? I mean, my idea of a wild Friday night is a quiet evening at home watching TV with my husband and my dog. But then I realized the only reason I was letting that be a bad thing was because of the meaning I was letting someone else give to it. Which leads us to a mini shift you gotta internalize as well. You've probably let other people tell you about yourself, which is now affecting your beliefs and actions. In my case, I let it keep me from putting myself out there for years until I realized I like who I am. I do not feel the need to change the fact that I'm a homebody, an introvert, and a nerd. And that makes me relatable to all the other homebodies out there. Hey guys, if that's you too, I would love to hear what show you're watching tonight in the comments. If you're on my email list, this is not a surprise to you. I tell a lot of seemingly mundane stories. Things like random chores I do with my husband, walks with my dog, and bad TV shows I'm watching. The thing is, it's not page-turning content. And yet, over 100,000 people tune in every day to read my emails. Because I figured out how to turn this boring part of myself into a strength. That's the key. And I'm gonna call it shift 1.5. Can you learn to tell your story in a way that connects and resonates with other people? If the answer is yes, and the answer is always yes, then you have almost everything you need to build that successful business of your dreams. The reason I say almost is because there is another piece of the pie that you gotta address before you can unlock your full business potential. Lots of us, myself included, have business trauma. Often, these painful emotions can hold us back, especially when you're A, not taking care of your emotions, and B, giving your emotions meaning that they don't need to have. For example, I used to have this idea that if I did not hit X revenue in my business, that meant I sucked. Maybe I wasn't cut out to be an entrepreneur. I was bad at business. Basically, I gave it a lot of meaning, which just made me feel defeated and like a failure. When in reality, I just needed to learn from it and move on. Because you know what? Good business people miss their goals all the time. And this is where we get to the second shift you want to make. To realize that caring for your emotions is a huge, important step in building a successful business. My favorite solution to this is, drumroll please, therapy. At least that's what helped me most. I avoided it for years because I thought I didn't need it. But I am so glad that my friends talked me into trying it. It turns out I needed a professional to help me detach my sense of self from my accomplishments. I even learned a little mantra that helps me a lot these days. I haven't done it yet, but I'm in the process of getting there. It's just like a baby falling down when they're learning to walk. When that baby falls, it doesn't think, I'm never gonna walk. They scrape their knee, learn from it, maybe cry a little, and then get right back up. Being proactive about your mental health is not fluff. It also makes a huge impact on your ability to solve all the problems in your business faster and better. I know this is a lot. So super quick recap to set the stage before shift number 3. First, how you see yourself, the story that you tell yourself internally affects what you do. In fact, the author of Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz, was a former plastic surgeon. So he got to see this firsthand. He saw a lot of his patients, even after a super successful operation, not feel any happier because they still felt ugly inside. What does that mean? You are going to be so much more likely to succeed if you can change how you see yourself on the inside. And even better, if you can learn how to tell that new story to others in a way that resonates. That's how you're going to become amazing at authentically selling your products and services. But none of that matters if you aren't internalizing shift number 2, that caring for your emotions will directly impact your success. Which brings us to the best part. What do you do when you wake up tomorrow morning and you want to start making these changes? Using his findings, Maltz came up with a solution, the success system. This is something you can start using right now so that you can become the successful version of yourself that you want to be. We're going to get a little nostalgic here with this first tip. In every Disney princess movie, the heroine has an I want song where they're able to express their desires and their dreams. Think Reflection from Mulan. She struggles with her identity and wants to live up to her potential. Or Almost There from The Princess and the Frog. Tiana wants to open her own restaurant. Now you get to turn yourself into the hero of your own story. What's your I want song? AKA your sense of direction. Start every day with an objective to pursue. And it can be super simple. You probably already do this in some way, especially if you use a planner and put your daily to-dos in there. And after you set your daily goal, understand that emotions do not need to be a part of it, because emotions like anxiety and fear can actually lead us to misunderstand things, which leads to failure. Not that there won't be scary risks for you to take. It might feel really scary to write a post or pitch yourself to someone who might reject you, but that's part of the process. The key is to not delay taking action while you wait to get completely confident, because, spoiler alert, that won't ever happen. What you want to aim for is imperfect courage. Next is charity. Basically, as you go through your day, be kind to others. You'll start to notice that this also changes your self-reflection. You might even start being kinder to yourself. Like, yeah, I'm kind and awesome. Having self-esteem is not braggy. It's a smart and true strategy for a better life. So every day, make sure that you're focusing on the good things about yourself, not so much the bad. This is what gives you the self-confidence to improve yourself a little bit every day. And also the self-acceptance to be at peace with the things that you can't change. Just like I was able to accept my boringness and turn it into a strength. Now, I'd love to hear how these shifts inspired you. What's one practical tip that you're going to start using right now to make your goals a reality?